Trust is going to be the true currency of the 21st century. Not the dollar, not gold, not silver, not the yuan, not chocolate. It's going to be trust. That is the real currency in the world. And without it, not enough money can fix your problem. For disclosure to take place, all of the advocacy we're doing, which is out in the open, and all of the public awareness, and the documentaries, and the press conferences, and the citizen hearing, all of this is designed to be seen and heard by the people in government.
The last time the Congress held a hearing addressing the extraterrestrial issue was 1968, 44 years of sightings ago.
From April 29th through March 3rd, Stephen Bassett will be heading up his own hearing titled Citizens Hearing on Disclosure at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. It is his hope that this garners the attention of the current administration.
What has to happen is somebody in one of these entities, one of these sides of the issue, has got to approach someone in back channels, and there needs to be a back channel meeting between the military intelligence community and the executive branch, where they come to an agreement.
Getting answers out of the deep black world where they may reside, that may not be an easy thing to do either. There could be a really major battle royale between various political factions to get these secrets out.
Researcher and historian Richard Dolan, who co-authored the book AD After Disclosure, believes that if the government did come forward, that it would only be the beginning to even more questions.
Disclosure is not going to be the end of anything. It's going to be the beginning of all the difficult questions that we're going to be needing to ask. Are they from another planet? Are they from another dimension, as some people believe? Are they time travelers, others people claim? What might be unsatisfactory about disclosure is the fact that we may not, in the end, be a lot farther along in answering these questions than we are today.
The National Press Club in Washington, D.C. has been the backdrop for other forums on the topic of UFOs. One of the most famous being that of Dr. Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project on May 9th, 2001. Filmmaker James Fox also held an event at the National Press Club on November 12, 2007. However, most feel that we are no closer to government disclosure.
It's clear that the established authorities, the ruling class, if you will, the ruling circles in government circles and in ecclesial circles, are now starting to have to rapidly come to grips with the reality that the people are not buying their myth.
Attorney Daniel Sheehan, a Harvard Law graduate and social activist, has spent virtually his entire life working on progressive social programs and initiatives.
Upon your analysis, as a very experienced analyst, that you conclude we're not, in fact, either built or flown by any nation state in our planet.
Yeah, I would say in all of those cases and many more, whatever they are is not something that we own, build, and all that. And I've seen the Black Triangle, kinds of.
When you say we own or build, who's the we?
We, in this case, U.S. government.
What about any other nation
or
state?
Industry or humans? How about that?
No humans.
Now we're talking.
Okay, so now
Earthlings.
Okay, so
in 2011, at the International UFO Congress, Sheehan moderated a debate between Colonel John Alexander and Stanton Friedman. Friedman was actually filling in for Stephen Bassett, who was originally scheduled to debate Alexander, but ran into scheduling conflicts. Alexander has been very vocal about his feelings on disclosure.
Disclose what? Disclosure has happened. And this notion that it's going to change civilization is total nonsense.
The event ended up being more of an argument between Sheehan and Alexander than an actual debate with Friedman.
Well, you're making some very huge assumptions here.
This wasn't a debate. It was an interrogation by a defense attorney, I guess.
I said, but look, you did say these things. And so I was trying to get him to begin with, to start right from there, so that I could set up a place of agreement between him and Stanton Friedman. That they both agreed that these were non-human vehicles, and that therefore, if they agreed to that, I was trying to get the debate moving toward what should we do about them.
you know, do you understand Occam's razor? Because in order to explain many of these things, they keep coming up with these complicated, you know, convoluted answers, when a very simple answer would suffice.
For Friedman, it's still about getting the government to admit that the truth has yet to be told.
Lying is your primary tool, and they have lied. And as long as you get away with it, you're going to continue to lie. It works. But somebody has to say, hold it. Here's what you guys said. Here's what the facts are. When are you going to tell us the truth?
Who is guilty of the greater crime, at least in my eyes, for having deceived the public, deceived the masses, deceived the world for all these years?
Don Schmitt has spent much of his life investigating Roswell and feels that the view on the UFO phenomenon can get frustrating.
It's frustrating in the sense that we've been relegated to the fringe arena without anyone really looking into it.
Director and television star Don Most believes that it may be possible that we will see some form of disclosure in our lifetime.
Saying it does feel like we're starting to approach that a critical mass point where I believe we are going to find out. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I don't know how to separate the two, but it does feel like we're approaching that point in time where disclosure will happen.
So, in the end, will a citizen's hearing on disclosure bring us any closer to answers to the questions being presented? Bassett feels that testimony being presented will have an effect for change.
40 to 50 witnesses of high rank and station from military, from agencies, and possibly from intelligence services, along with the top researchers in the world, will give 30 hours of testimony to 5 former members of the United States Congress. And when you listen to their experience, when you hear that they can't talk about it, that they've lost family over it, that they've been divorced over it, that their kids are teased about it, whatever, when you hear these stories and you realize that the reason they're forced in the closet on this issue is because of the government truth embargo, it's very powerful.
Whether this truly will have an effect remains to be seen. Bassett knows that what drives him is a sense of purpose, and that this is a subject that could have an effect on all of humanity.
I happen to be fortunate enough to be able to engage what I believe will be the most important issue in history, the most important advocacy movement in history, with the potential to change society and the human race's standing beyond anything that's done.